Holy shit, that was terrible. Hey, everybody. Oh, that was bad. Deep, sincere apologies to Brian Adams, I believe. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Livestream. My name is Alan Collins. We're not here for your entertainment, obviously. We are studentloanjustice.org. We are the oldest, largest, first, and only true grassroots group fighting only and absolutely for student loan justice. Student loans suck, and you probably have them. And that's probably about the extent of what you know about student loans. If you're like most people, maybe you know a bit more. And really, who should have to know much about student loans? Student loans should have never become any kind of a thing in this country. Like 40 years ago, you could pay for college by working odd jobs in the summertime and stuff. So I'm sorry that you're here. It's not my fault. But don't feel bad. You're not alone, by the way. 85% of all federal student loan borrowers were never going to be able to repay their loans. And that was true before the pandemic. So if you're suffering in silence, if you're afraid to mention your student loan situation to your friends, family, and others, colleagues, go to a bar. And if there's 20 people in that bar, I guarantee you 4 or 5 of those people have student loans. And of those 4 or 5 people, 4 or 5 of them were never going to be able to repay their loans. So go to a bar. If there's 20 people there, there's probably 3, 4, 5 people in there shitting bricks about their student loans. Guys, it's not our fault. We didn't break this lending system. This lending system tried to break us. So welcome. We're very glad that you're here, and I hope that you're ready to fight, because this is a working, fighting group. This is not a watch it happen movement. This is a make it happen struggle. So tonight, I just want to ask you a very simple question. You may or may not know, unlike every other loan in this country, student loans have been uniquely stripped of the right of bankruptcy. Like, nobody wants to file for bankruptcy. It's a terrible thing to have to do. But the founding fathers called for uniform bankruptcy laws in the Constitution. They knew something. You know, people like John Adams and, Thomas Jefferson and even George Washington, they were being hurt badly by British banks, British merchants, ship owners, trading companies, etc., under debt. So here we are, 250 years later. Student loans are the only type of loan in this country to be uniquely stripped of the uniform constitutional bankruptcy rights that exist for all other loans. This lies at the core of the student loan problem. I would say also the absence of statutes of limitations also are a key part of the student loan scam, and why this entire lending system at this point is now catastrophically failed. Capital F. Is that enough? Okay. Anyways, so the question I have for you tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is very simple. By all current data, it would appear, and I've said this before and been wrong, so I'm not going to say for sure, but it would appear that they are going to turn the student loan system back on in a matter of months, certainly by September 1st. So the question is this: do you want to face that reality with the constitutionally enshrined right of bankruptcy back on your side? Not that you would ever file, whether you would ever or never file. Would you not rather see that reality with at least the option of bankruptcy in your back pocket, as it exists for all other borrowers, for all other loans? Or would you rather face that reality naked and afraid and vulnerable and without the constitutionally enshrined right of bankruptcy on your side, as it exists for all other loans? I think that's a pretty easy question to answer. And think about it this way as well, guys. You know, the student loan industry have not been making a lot of money at all over the past 3 years. They've been on very thin gruel, like these federal subsidies that just basically keep their lights on. They have not been collecting on student loans. Nobody's been paying because of the pandemic pause. And collections on defaulted loans, which is a massive part of the student loan scam. It's a huge part of the industry. It's hugely profitable and lucrative for them. That's been shut off. So these collection companies, these servicers, I would say the guarantors also, they are very hungry right now, and they are chomping at the bit for this lending scam, and it is a scam, to be turned back on. So they will be coming for you. And whatever your student loan situation is, do you not agree that it would be really good for us to have at least the threat of bankruptcy back on our side, back on your side, when they turn these loans back on? Well, I hope that your answer is yes. My answer is absolutely yes. We have got to fight for the return of bankruptcy rights to these loans, ladies and gentlemen. We've seen the bad guys. We've been doing this for going on 19 years now, guys. We've seen the bad guys pull every trick in the book to keep bankruptcy gone from these loans. It's a very good reason for that. Even people claiming to be fighting for student loan cancellation, they have very suspicious ties to the industry. And when it comes to fighting for bankruptcy, they are nowhere to be found, or they're even against us. They even fight either publicly or behind the scenes against the return of constitutional bankruptcy rights to these loans. This is the kryptonite of the student loan system, guys. And, I would say the founding fathers saw this scam coming from 250 years in the past. And this is precisely the sort of con that they wanted to avoid. So fighting for bankruptcy is not a shameful thing. In fact, it is something you should be proud of if you're doing it. And quite frankly, guys, our livelihoods hang in the balance here. By the way, if you're new to the group, we're a fiercely nonpartisan grassroots. We're just normal people. We don't give a shit. We don't do deals with bad guys. We don't have any sneaky little ties with the industry. No. None of that. We're just normal people trying to solve the student loan problem. And over many years of very careful observation, it has become abundantly clear that we're not going to see meaningful student loan cancellation from Joe Biden or whoever the next president is, whoever the Secretary of Education is. We're not going to see anything meaningful from these jokers as long as the leverage of bankruptcy is returned. That is the most important thing that I'm going to tell you tonight. So whether you would ever or never file for bankruptcy, it's really not important. Frankly, I don't think many people, maybe even no one, will actually have to file. But when we get the right return, they are going to have to cancel loans broadly, widely, deeply, maybe even totally. And make no mistake, we on this group believe that the entire lending system should be canceled. Every nickel of federally owned student loans should be canceled. Bankruptcy rights have got to be returned to all student loans. In fact, it was this group that started the petition, change.org/cancel student loans, which now has about 1.2 million signatures on it. It was this group that launched that whole concept of student loan cancellation into the public conversation. So make no mistake, we are fully on board with loan cancellation, but we're smarter than that. We know that we are not going to see meaningful loan cancellation unless and until we get the leverage of bankruptcy returned. Until that happens, guys, we're going to be completely vulnerable, and we're going to be completely kneeling and begging this administration or the next to do nice things for us. And several decades of careful observation have shown and have informed us on this group that they will never do nice things for us as long as we don't have some power on our side. And that power begins with having the constitutional leverage of bankruptcy returned. Whether or never would you ever file is not important. I didn't say that right, but you get my point. So yeah, guys, that's a very important question. And it really has a practical a practical reality on your life and these loans coming up in a few short months. They are going to turn this lending system on. I suspect. I'd say 95% chance at this point. Do you want to face that reality naked and afraid? Or do you want to face that reality with at least a toothpick of power in your back pocket? The lending system is catastrophically failed, guys. The federal student loan program should be ended. They should not keep making loans. They should suspend it, i.e. end it. They should replace it. And that's got to happen at this point. I mean, the numbers are just too outrageously obscene by any rational metric. Even before the pandemic, 60% of the borrowers had stopped paying on their loans. 60%. That's 3 in 5 of all student loan borrowers had stopped paying on their loans before the pandemic. That's not going to go up. That is going to go down. Well, the number of non-payers is going to go up from there. It'll probably go up to 80 or 85% whenever they try and turn these loans back on. That could get ugly because at least on paper, according to bad federal law, the federal government can do nasty things to us under this predatory lending regime. And guys, I'm telling you, we've got to band together on this. We're the largest group in the country that I'm aware of fighting this fight. We've got over 1.4 million members across our petition, our Facebook platform, our email list, and our Twitter and our other platforms. Guys, I'm telling you, that is absolutely meaningless unless the people on this group actually start helping us fight. So I'm going to go to your questions in just a second, but let me just give you 3 action items that you can very easily do right now. Number 1, go to our website, studentloanjustice.org. Look at our daily actions and if you've never done a daily action, do the past 2 weeks worth. They're very quick. You got to have a Twitter account. Sorry about that. I hate Twitter. Everybody hates Twitter. Twitter is effective. Do 2 weeks worth of our daily actions. Number 2, get a meeting with your Republican member of the House of Representatives or your Republican senators. So in other words, everybody has 2 senators and 1 House rep. If any of those people are Republicans for you, hopefully all of them are, get us into a meeting with them. Call them on the phone, say, yep, I want to talk about student loans. I'd like to talk to your judiciary staffer if they're available. I'd like to bring on Alan Collins or someone from studentloanjustice.org. They're a nonpartisan group. My contact information is Alan, ALAN, at studentloanjustice.org. Phone number 202-594-1120. What else? I think that's all you really need to tell them. Just give them my contact info. And I will very happily come onto that phone conference or a Zoom conference, whatever that winds up being. And I will talk to them and I will set them straight. This is something that we're very good at doing, guys. We've been polishing this brass. We've been sharpening this edge to a razor sword-like edge or something. We've been sharpening this knife for many, many years, guys. We're very good at talking to congressional staffers. That needs to happen, guys. Now I say Republicans not because we love Republicans. Republicans are pretty evil. The Democrats are also quite evil on the student loan issue, guys. It's a uniparty thing. We quite frankly can't stand either party at this point. They've betrayed us, or they just never did anything for us and always hated us. In the case of the Democrats and the Republicans, respectively. And that just means we need to push them all the harder. If you hate Republicans and you have a Republican senator, well, then bring a little more piss and vinegar into the meeting and speak a little more strongly. Put your rage into your conversation with them. These people are supposed to work for us, guys. So that's the second thing. The third thing is, again, go to the website, join your state chapter group. Join our Facebook group, our national Facebook group for sure also. But definitely jump onto your state chapter group. Have a look around. You may want to consider stepping up to lead it if there is no admin for the group. And that is true for about a third of the states. We have leaders for around 33 or so of the 50 states. But, you know, we can always use more passionate leadership. We can have co-leaders. I mean, these are nice people. These are just normal people like you and me who are leading our states. And they would be very happy to get all the help that they can get from you and others. So those are the 3 action items that you can do right now. And I'm here to tell you guys, we are potentially the strongest political force in modern U.S. history. I kid you not. I mean, the fact that 1 in 5 adults have student loans and 85% of them are underwater on their loans, that's like 44 million people if you count private student loans. That's a lot of people, guys. That's larger by, I think, twice than all the standing armies on Earth combined. Like, that's more than the state of California. That's huge. We're a nation unto ourselves. But that only matters when you help and when you start actually fighting this battle, which is your battle and on which your livelihood hangs. Because I can guarantee you guys, the talking heads, the other so-called student advocacy groups, they're out to lunch. Half of them are straight up corrupted. They're not going to solve this problem for you. The politicians in Washington are not going to solve this problem for you. We've got to push these people. You know, I think that is how democracy works, and that's the only thing that's ever worked. It all starts with you. So we're off to a good start, guys. I'm pretty optimistic about how this year is going to go. We're good whichever way it goes. I mean, we're tougher. We are way too big to fail. So take heart in that. But guys, you sitting there have to help the people on this group fight, because you are us and we are you. And as I said, you should be proud, not ashamed, proud to be fighting this fight, because there's a lot of people depending on us, guys. And I don't want to put the pressure on too thick, but you know, your country actually needs you in this battle. We on this group are the pioneers. We're the warriors. We wouldn't have seen student loan cancellation from Biden, but for the people on this group who pushed our petition and did all the work necessary to get that issue up to where leading politicians like Chuck Schumer and Elizabeth Warren grabbed the concept and ran with it. And we're glad they did, but let's not kid ourselves, guys. Their student loan cancellation is crap. It was swamp-ized or something. No. We can't count on these people. We've got to push these people. And that's always been true. So I'm looking for your questions and comments right now. I hope everybody's doing well out there in the world. And if I'm not able to see your comments or questions, which does happen sometimes, let me just apologize in advance. You can see I'm wearing a coat here. It's freezing up here in northern Wisconsin. It was supposed to be summer or spring. And indeed, last week was like 80 degrees on Thursday. But then we got a foot of snow between Thursday and today. And so now it's freezing again. And we're about to get more snow, believe it or not. Okay, there. I can see it now, finally. Apologize. We've got a few comments. I will try and get to some of them. Hey, Joanna Kearns in Florida is with us. Hey, Joanna, how are you? Joanna is one of our stalwart, diehard, fierce warriors for the student loan justice cause. Good evening, Alan. Did the daily actions? Oh, how is the weather now? Yeah, the weather sucks. I'm glad you asked. Sometimes it snows in April, as Prince would say. And indeed, here we are getting towards the end of April, and nothing but snow in the forecast. So yeah, guys, I see I'm kind of up against the clock here. We're at 20 minutes. I'm trying to keep my live stream short. One last thing that I'm going to leave you with. We still need to raise some money, guys. We raised enough money to buy the new SLJ van, and thank all of you for everyone who helped from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. We'll be on the road soon, hopefully by the end of the month, but I'm thinking probably the first couple weeks in May, we'll be back in the saddle. And this SLJ van is going to be awesome, guys. I can't wait. We do still, however, need to raise like $300 in the next week to take care of some very pressing obligations. We put all of our normal fundraising stuff off to the side while we were fundraising for the van. So we're going to be scrambling, it looks like, for the next 2 or 3 weeks. If you can donate, you can see the link there, studentloanjustice.org/donate. Please go there and please donate if you would. We don't need a lot of money to fight and win this battle and survive and stuff, but we cannot do it on nothing. So, and if you're new to the group, I hope you will Google this group and you'll see that we indeed are, we're behind most of the important things that you see happening with the student loan issue today. That's true. We wouldn't have had good bankruptcy legislation to fight for last session. We will not have good bankruptcy legislation to fight for this session, but for the people on this group. So take heart. You came to the right place. Don't believe then 99% of the stuff you see about student loans on the internet is just nonsense seeded by people who make money out of the student loan system, student loan lawyers and debt coaches and Forbes magazine shills and people like that. You came to the right place. Don't be distracted by the bullshit, guys. This is it. This is ground zero in the fight for student loan justice. No matter what you want to see happen with your loans, whether you want them canceled, whether you want to break on interest, whether ultimately you need to file for bankruptcy, you came to exactly the right place. I'm glad you found us. I hope that you'll help on the donations thing so I can shut up about it. I suck at fundraising. But I hope you can appreciate the very unique position this group is in. I hope that you will tell all your friends, family, and neighbors and everyone you can find with student loans about this group, particularly in your local area, because I really want to get our state chapters kicking ass. There's no reason that we can't. Most of them have around 100 members in them now, so that's enough to really start doing some damage. So I think I'll just leave it there at that tonight, guys. Sorry about the terrible piano playing. I will work on that for tomorrow. I may be with you tomorrow, depending on what our fearless co-leader Ed is doing. I will definitely be back on Friday. So hang in there, guys. As I said, rewind this broadcast if you're wondering what you can do. There are some very simple, easy, concrete steps that you can take right now that will measurably help you, me, the people, everyone with student loans in this battle. There's true strength in numbers, guys, and we have a nuclear strength argument. We have the biggest political muscle in America, potentially, to flex, and that will only happen, only when you, sitting there, help us flex it. So take heart, be hopeful. We got this, guys. Hopefully we'll get the clean death to this lending system rather than the long, painful, month or years long unwinding. We're fighting for the first thing, and we know the path. So I'll see you on Friday. Good luck, Godspeed, and God bless everyone.